Number 4, Battle Royale from 2000. And this is a Japanese film. It came out in Japan in 2000. It stars that same dude who would later on to star in the Death Note films. And this is definitely his best movie, man. I mean, he stars in this movie. The storyline is basically about this particular class. I think they're in the 9th grade, and they end up getting hauled off by the military or whatnot into an island, into a particular island in the middle of nowhere, and they have to, with the fucking title, Battle Royale, they have to kill each other, and only the last student standing, the last person that survives, is the only one that gets to go home. That's insane. These are kids. When this movie was released, it caused a fucking controversy. In Japan, you know, because of the violence and the depiction of violence amongst the children, especially. I mean, these are young people killing each other and committing so much crime against each other. But this movie is amazing for many reasons. I mean, the acting is beautiful. First of all, the acting is great. These kids can fucking act, man. The depiction of human struggle, human desperation, when you're all alone and when you're fending for yourself and your life is on the line when somebody else is trying to kill you. It could be your best friend, but if he's trying to kill you in order to save himself, you're going to want to save yourself as well. It depicts humanity in a very real, visceral, guttural way, and the violent nature of this film is notable as well. There's a lot of violence and blood and gore in this film, a lot of killing in this movie, and I mean, but man, this is one of the movies that you're gonna be remembering for the rest of your life as well, man. You're gonna think back to this movie and go, man, that movie was the shit, man. That movie is one of the best movies ever, and it really is. Battle Royale from 2000. And if I'm not mistaken, this movie is based on a novel, right? This movie is based on a novel. So on this list, there's quite a lot of movies that are based on novels, and they end up actually translating into amazing films. So that's kind of like the theme of this particular decade, I think, is that the novels being turned into great movies. Well, that's kind of like the big deal. Like, that's kind of the main theme. And I mean, we're gonna continue this theme by moving on to number 3, Slumdog Millionaire from 2008. Definitely one of the best films of the freaking decade, man. I love this movie. This movie is just one of the most complete, most fulfilling movies. It's a must-watch film, hands down. Great acting, okay, great storytelling, great characters, memorable storyline, great pacing, you know, great music. And cinematography, great direction, you name it. This movie has it all, okay? This movie has it all. There's a reason why this movie won all those awards, you know, the Academy Awards that it won, including Best Picture. Okay, this movie is the shit. And it's a British/Indian film. And, I mean, it really is a groundbreaking film in certain ways, because we've never seen a movie quite like it here in the West. You know, it's based on a novel called Q&A from 2005, written by, what's his name, Vikas Swarup, and directed by Danny Boyle and Loveleen Tandon. Then you got the main character, which is the main character who's portrayed by Dev Patel, who is Jamal Malik. You know, and he's got a brother named Salim, and a childhood friend named Latika. And the three of them are, they're childhood friends and whatnot, and Malik and Salim are brothers, but they kind of face a lot of trials and tribulations, and as they grow up, they kind of get torn apart, and a lot of stuff happens between them, and they kind of have to, you know, Dev Patel's character, he tries to find Latika, because Latika actually ends up getting well, she ends up getting captured by a bunch of criminals, basically. A bunch of freaking criminals. Slumdog Millionaire, to give you an idea of what this movie is about, his character, Salim, he goes to this Indian version of basically Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And so he goes to this particular game show, and he ends up getting a lot of questions right. You know, and so kind of the police kind of ends up questioning him, like, what the hell's going on? How come you know all the goddamn answers? You know, and so the story kind of evolves from there, and it kind of it's told in flashbacks and things that happened in the past, and he's trying to explain how he knew all these answers. But at the end of the day, this movie's amazing. It's a must fucking watch, man. You gotta fucking watch this movie. One of the best films of this fucking decade. There you have it, Slumdog Millionaire number 3 from 2008. Now you're thinking, oh my god, man, what are the top 2? You know, I've mentioned some pretty fucking amazing movies. The top fucking 34 must-watch movies of the bottom half so far. Now we're at the top 2. These are the top 2 best fucking movies of the goddamn decade. And let's fucking get to it. No more stalling. Number 2, City of God from 2002. AKA Cidade de Deus in Portuguese. Now yeah, this came out in 2002. And why is this movie great? Well, young grasshopper, it seems the best films of this decade are based on novels, and Brazil's epic crime drama adaptation of Paulo Lins' 1997 Cidade de Deus is one of the most memorable examples. It's basically set in the slums of Rio de Janeiro during the 60s and 80s, and you got a boy named Buscapé, the main character. He's also known as Rocket. He finds himself in the middle of a vicious gang warfare. You know, one side is attempting to become like the most dominant drug-dealing organization, and then you got the other side consisting of those who hate the drug-dealing leader, Lil Z. So this movie has great pacing. It's got gritty cinematography, visceral storytelling. City of God, I mean, this movie depicts the hellish cycle of drug and violence, which basically wreaked havoc amongst its forsaken youths, man. It's a great fucking movie. God damn it, it's a fucking classic. It's one of the most, yeah, you gotta watch this, man. It's one of the best movies you need to watch in your whole fucking life. You gotta watch this at some point in your life. You gotta fucking see this movie. Absolutely breath fucking taking. God, this is a fucking great storyline, great fucking pacing. You know, I mean, it just goes on and on and on, and it just keeps you fucking hooked, man. It just keeps you fucking hooked. Great characters, great acting. Man. Kids with guns, man. Kids with guns. It's crazy. And finally, the number 1 movie, the best film of the decade, Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, from 2003. And here's why it's great. What defines a classic, timeless trilogy? A captivating beginning, a mesmerizing middle, and an epic end. This final installment in Peter Jackson's film adaptation of J.R.R. Tolkien's fantasy novel series is bigger, wider, and better. More menacing villains with larger armies, tougher obstacles for the protagonists, a dramatic descent into a final battle which pits ultimate good against ultimate evil. Return of the King retains everything positive from its 2 predecessors and delivers much more. The young hobbit, Frodo, and his friends, you know, they endure perilous terrain and certain evil in order to finally destroy the much coveted One Ring. And from beautiful cinematography depicting the distant lands of Gondor to the dark mountains of Cirith Ungol, Peter Jackson captures the heart and soul of Middle-earth, while simultaneously delivering a legendary tale of orcs, warriors, magic, and finality and epicness. The best quality, however, is its accessibility and its great presentation. Whether you're a longtime Tolkien fan or a casual moviegoer, this film pleases all. It's your boy Rant and Ravenfection. Thank you for sticking with me through the highs and the lows. Definitely, these are the top 36 best films of the decade. And I thank you for listening. And I hope you check out all these movies. They are all a must-watch. You got to check them out at least once. I know I did. Because you won't regret it. I guarantee you won't regret it. Peace.